Clerk will explain what happened coming up in your only local news at 7 a.m.
You're watching Fox 10 News at 7 in high-definition television.
Good morning, and thanks for choosing Fox 10 News on this Tuesday morning. Today is August 20th. I'm Sarah Wall. Eric Reynolds has the morning off. Let's check in first now with meteorologist Michael White for a look at today's weather forecast. It's a nice start to a Tuesday morning. There's some sunshine outside this morning, and it's just a tad bit cooler.
Yeah, and as we were talking about in the last half hour, Sarah, every degree makes a big difference in mid-August.
It really does. You can actually feel it.
Yeah, it does feel great. So as you head out the door to work, or second day of school for a lot of kids.
Happy back to school time.
Yeah, you get a little preview of fall. And as far as what we're seeing right now, temperatures are sitting in the mid to lower 70s. Not bad. The sky mostly clear on the Pensacola side with a heat index value of 80. Now we are going to see the air turning a little more humid, and high temperatures today will rebound into the upper 80s. So don't let the morning air fool you. It is going to feel very much like mid-August later this afternoon. Now as far as the storm tracker, showers tracking from east to west out in the open waters of the Gulf. We'll be keeping a watchful eye on those as they will try to track from offshore to onshore later today, but the overwhelming majority of the viewing area is calm and quiet and will be that way through this morning. But if you live south of I-10, a coastal shower possible. The rest of you are going to wake up partly to mostly sunny with temperatures in the lower 80s by 10 a.m. We'll talk more detail about the afternoon shower chance for today and how things will be shaping up as we get closer to your Friday and weekend. We'll talk all about it in your full forecast in just a bit. Sarah?
All right, Michael, thanks. It's now 7:02, and in the news this morning, a convicted sex offender lands behind bars again. This is video of 45-year-old Anthony Avery on his way to Metro Jail. Pritchard police say he forced his way into a woman's home on Elm Street early Saturday morning and attacked her. They say she was stabbed multiple times all over her body. The victim was taken to USA Medical Center. No word yet on her condition. This morning, Avery is charged with domestic violence and burglary. Saraland police are looking for this wanted sex offender. Investigators say 49-year-old Terry Hatcher, who you see here, a convicted sex offender, moved from his registered address and did not tell them where he was going, which is against the law. If you know where Hatcher is this morning, please give police a call. A Daphne man convicted of trying to entice two children for sex is expected to be sentenced today. This guy here, 59-year-old Alan Prine, contacted who he thought was a 32-year-old woman over the internet. He arranged to meet the woman so that he could engage in sexual activity with her two young children. Well, that woman was actually an investigator with the Saraland Police Department. Testimony continues today in the capital murder trial of one of four suspects accused in a deadly home invasion. Tavares Jones is the first to go on trial for the killings of Willie Sullivan Sr. and his grandson, Glenn Sullivan. Prosecutors say the victims were shot and killed inside a Theodore home in June of 2011. Police say Jones and Bryant Reynolds went in the home and shot 12-year-old Glenn in the living room. They believe the commotion woke up the grandfather, who came out shooting at the suspects. If convicted, Jones will not face the death penalty because he has been deemed mentally incompetent. He could be sentenced to life in prison. A Mobile man charged with murder is expected in court this morning for a preliminary hearing. 22-year-old Edward Lee Bonner is accused of gunning down 26-year-old O'Brien Russell back in April. Officials say the crime happened at the south of Dauphin Apartments on Dauphin Street and I-65. Police are still investigating the shooting, saying that more people might have been involved. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says a man found dead Sunday passed away from natural causes. Augustus McHugh's body was discovered floating in a creek near Highway 43 in Axis. Family members reported McHugh missing last week. An autopsy revealed foul play did not contribute to his death. Meanwhile, a local store clerk was forced to defend himself after he says a robber walked into his store demanding money. The clerk says a man dressed in a gray shirt and blue ball cap walked into a store on Howells Ferry Road demanding money. But the clerk was ready to defend himself with his own gun.
Then I just pointed the gun at him like this, and he turned around going quick.
The robber fled on foot toward Cody Road. The clerk pursued the suspect in his vehicle but never caught up with him. If you know anything about this crime, you are asked to please contact Mobile Police. The Mobile Police Department is conducting an internal investigation into a picture submitted to Fox 10 via Reported. A viewer took a picture that shows several children inside a police officer's patrol car. That picture was taken Friday evening outside a convenience store in Irvington. Now, the viewer says that 4 children in the back seat were not wearing seat belts, and there was a 5th child in the front seat. Last November, someone took a picture of an off-duty officer riding with 3 small children in his car. Then the chief said that it was a violation of the department's take-home car policy to use the vehicles for personal use. We'll let you know how this investigation turns out. Still to come here on Fox 10 News this Tuesday morning, the Mobile Area Water and Sewer System says it will fight the construction of an oil pipeline that's set to run through the Big Creek Lake watershed. Some of what Moss has to say about it coming up next. Also, the race for Mobile mayor heats up. The latest from the campaign trail is straight ahead. And parents and students in Foley schools are feeling a bit safer. That's because every school is now equipped with its own resource officer. 7:06 is our time right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for spending it with us right here on Fox 10 News, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 10 News with Sarah Wall, Eric Reynolds, and meteorologist Michael White. Fox 10 News in high-definition television.
Welcome back. Your time 7:09 as we start off looking at your weather headlines for this Tuesday. We still have that stalled front on top of the Gulf Coast, and that is one of the main reasons rain chances are not subsiding at all. We're going to have another 50% chance of scattered showers and storms, but the coverage of rain going to be very similar to what it was yesterday. Nothing close to what we saw over the weekend. And as far as any activity in the tropics, remember, this is mid-August, mid to late August. This is when we should have a couple of named storms on the board, or at least a couple of tropical tropical disturbances, but everything out there is calm and quiet. No activity whatsoever in the Caribbean, the Gulf, or in the Atlantic. And part of the reason why we have not seen many tropical waves popping off the African coast is because of dry air off the Sahara Desert. And hopefully we'll see that trend continue for a little while longer. But tropical storm development not expected over the next 5 days. Temperatures right now mid to lower 70s around our area. Projected high today will be about 88. The rain and storm chance 50%. It'll be coastal early this morning, and then we're going to see the coverage peak between about noon and 3, and then most of the showers will be fading away as a lot of you commute home from work at 5 o'clock. All the rain and storms, and they are heavy at that, are out in the open waters of the Gulf, tracking from east to west ahead of the stalled boundary. Since we're on the back side of it, many of you are waking up to sunshine, and the air is slightly less humid than it has been over the past several days, but we've seen that front sort of meander back and forth, especially over the last 24 hours, and we're going to see the same trend again today. Since we're on the back side of it, we're getting the dry, stable air from this upper high pumping in, but as the front retreats backwards to the north as we move into the afternoon, we're going to see a surge of Gulf moisture. Humidity will rise, and a lot of these showers and storms will track from offshore to onshore. High today going to be about 88 degrees. Heat index between 95 and 100 with a light southeast wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight we'll dip down to 73 degrees, and as the rain chances fall, as that front washes itself out by late Wednesday into Thursday, high temperatures will rebound back to around 90 degrees. We'll talk more about the immediate forecast, let you know how the weekend's going to stack up. We'll jump into it in about 10 minutes.
Forget Facebook, LinkedIn looking to lure in more teens to its site if they already have future career goals in mind, and the housing bubble may be inflating again. I'm Ellen Breitman. I'll have all that and more coming up in your Bloomberg Business Report. Good morning. Expect heavier traffic for the Labor Day holiday. AAA predicting more than 29 million people will hit the open road that weekend. Those flying expected to rise as well, with the total number traveling more than 34 million, the most since 2008. Meantime, the FAA has invested $40 billion in the so-called next-gen air traffic control system aimed at reducing delays, jet fuel consumption, also carbon emissions. And after years of delay, some some signs of progress. The Wall Street Journal says pilots flying into Seattle Tacoma International, for example, are seeing a difference. Airports in D.C., Denver, Atlanta, and Phoenix undergoing similar makeovers. Now, as we keep an eye on the recovering housing market, data from S&P Case-Shiller showing bubbles inflating in Nevada and Arizona again. In May, Phoenix prices jumping 21%, in Las Vegas up 23% from a year ago. Today, investors looking at numbers from the retailer JCPenney. We're going to see if it has to say how much it's struggling to lure consumers back to its revamped stores. It was another lower close for stocks yesterday. Weakness in energy shares. ExxonMobil down for the 18th time in 19 sessions. And if you have an eager teen at home, LinkedIn now letting students 13 and older join the site. The networking service says it's a way for ambitious teens to get a head start on the competition. At the New York Stock Exchange, Ellen Breitman with the Bloomberg Business Report.
All right, Ellen, thanks a lot. Remember, for the latest business news, you can go to our website. It's fox10tv.com. In the On the Money section, you will find both local and national stories. The Mobile Area Water and Sewer System has vowed to fight the plan by Plains South Cap to build an oil pipeline near the county's drinking water supply. In a unanimous resolution passed yesterday, the system's board of directors cited a number of studies estimating the severity of an oil spill in the Big Creek Lake watershed. Moss says even with additional shutoff valves, Plains drain down analysis indicates a pipeline breach could release up to 2,100 barrels of oil, which is the equivalent of 82,000 gallons of oil into Hamilton Creek after the line is shut down. If you'd like to read the entire resolution or learn more about the pipeline, just click the pipeline controversy link on our homepage, fox10tv.com. 7:16 is our time right now on this Tuesday morning, and we will be right back here on Fox 10 News. .18 is our time right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News. I'm Sarah Wall. Time to see how things are shaping up on the roadways at this hour this morning. Let's get with Aaron for all the details in our Fox 10 News traffic report. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning once again. And so far today, we've had delay-free conditions moving across both I-65 and I-10 all throughout Mobile. Also no problems moving across either the Bayway or the Causeway now with medium to heavy traffic. And our main roadways all accident and delay-free as well this morning. Throughout Pensacola, we're now seeing medium traffic moving across both I-10 and I-110. No slowdowns across any of the main roadways. I'm Aaron Adams with your Fox 10 News traffic.
All right, Aaron, thanks. And we'll check in with Aaron for another traffic report in our next half hour this morning at around 7:45. It's now 7:19, and with just 1 week to go before the big mayoral election in Mobile, political tensions are running high. In the last month alone, officials are reporting campaign signs being destroyed, removed, even replaced. Jesse Eldridge, who didn't want to be on camera, told us that he's just as invested in the local races as anyone else, which is why he became angry when he saw just where his political signs were disappearing to. Cameras at his shop on Navco Road caught someone stealing his campaign signs. What appears to be the same woman and vehicle replaces Sandy Stimson signs with ads for Mobile Mayor Sam Jones. She apparently, we're told, hit the property 3 different times.
The first time I kind of blew it off. I said, well, she doesn't know. She didn't know any better. The second time I said, well, you know, this is kind of aggravating, but I still don't think she knows any better. She's an older lady. The third time I said, no, this is just malicious.
Councilman John Williams says it's happened to him many times as well. He believes the culprits are just overexcited supporters. However, police say you can and will be charged with theft and trespassing if you are caught. All 3 candidates, incumbent Mayor Sam Jones, businessman Sandy Stimson, and educator Dr. Doris Brown, sat down with Fox 10 News anchor Bob Grip to answer some viewer-submitted questions. Yesterday, you heard the responses from Dr. Brown. Today, you'll hear at 5 o'clock, you'll hear what candidate Sandy Stimson has to say. Tomorrow, we will talk to incumbent Mayor Sam Jones and show you his interview. Now, remember, the deadline to apply for an absentee ballot is Thursday, and the municipal election is a week from today. That is August 27th. Aside from the mayor's race, there are 3 city council races on the ballot. The most crowded is the one for the District 2 seat, which was vacated by William Carroll. There are 5 candidates running for that seat. You have a chance to hear from them. A forum is set for Thursday night beginning at 7. It's being held at St. Mary Catholic School on Old Shell Road. That's between Providence Street and North Lafayette. The forum is being sponsored by the Old Dauphin Way Association. Nearly all the candidates looking to replace former Congressman Joe Bonner attended a congressional forum in Mobile. The event was held at the Creekwood Church of Christ last night. The candidates met with voters and had a chance to converse with each other as well. The forum was sponsored by the Common Sense campaign.
We think it's extremely important since Joe Bonner resigned. We want these candidates to be able to get out and meet the people. We're hoping to hold another one in on the Eastern Shore.
The special primary election is set for September 24th.
I'm meteorologist Michael White here in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center. If you're just waking up with us, almost all of you are partly to mostly sunny, and we will see temperatures rebounding into the lower 80s by the time we hit 10 o'clock. As far as rain potential, we could see a few scattered showers along the coast early today, but primarily we're talking close to midday and early afternoon that the rain and storm threat will return to the Gulf Coast. We'll talk all about it in your forecast on the other side of this break.
7:25 is our time right now, and time to see what's going on in the Studio 10 kitchen this morning. We have Nancy Roman from Southeast Dairy Association. She is going to be making some naan pizza. You can get that recipe on Studio 10, which starts right after our newscast this morning at 8 o'clock.
And if you're getting ready to leave the house early this morning, the roadways are dry. You shouldn't have any weather-related commuting problems out there. All the rain has been out over the open waters of the Gulf, tracking from east to west out of that stalled surface boundary that we've had around here for the past couple of days. And that frontal boundary is going to meander back and forth offshore and onshore throughout the day today. And as it retreats to the north, we're going to see some of these showers and storms moving onshore and our humidity values gradually increasing again. For now, temperatures are in the mid to lower 70s, 73 across Mobile, Brooklyn, and Pascagoula, 76 for Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach, but we factor in that high Gulf moisture, and it's already feeling like temperatures are in the lower 80s around parts of the Panhandle. And that frontal boundary is extending from about central South Carolina and central Georgia all the way down to about eastern Louisiana. The rain and storms are forming ahead of that in the Gulf of Mexico. They're tracking from the east to the west, and as we move in throughout the day, we'll see that front gradually retreat northward. The Gulf moisture surges, our air turns more humid, and we have to dodge more summer storms. But the good news is, as we continue throughout this week, we are going to see the front wash itself out. Our rain chances will get lower for tomorrow and Thursday, and as a result, afternoon highs will begin to increase again. On the Futurecast model, we see the best coverage of rain and storms at about midday today. Heavy rain and lightning as usual, the biggest threats with these storms. They'll track from south to north. As we head in towards sunset, the rain and storms fade away, and everything's calm and quiet through the overnight hours and into your Wednesday. High today, 88. The rain chance 50%. Expect a southeast wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight, primarily dry. Sky partly cloudy. Lows dipping down into the mid to lower 70s, and high temperatures rebound to 90 as the rain chances throttle back. But this weekend, a new front approaches, and that could ramp up the chance of rain and storms for us to 70% as we head into the weekend, but then drier air pumping in by Monday. Sarah?
All right, Michael, thanks. It's now 7:27. Coming up here on Fox 10 News, one local community is recovering from massive flooding due to our recent rainy weather. The details are coming up. And demolition has begun on the church that was the victim of the Christmas Day tornado. We'll have more on this story, plus more traffic and weather. It's all straight ahead on your only local news at 7:30. 7:28 right now, and we'll be right back here on Fox 10 News.
You're watching Fox 10 News with Sarah Wall, Eric Reynolds, and meteorologist Michael White. Fox 10 News in high definition television.
Good morning and thanks for watching Fox 10 News on this Tuesday morning, August 20th. I'm Sarah Wall. Eric Reynolds has the morning off. In the news this morning at 7:31, a church heavily damaged by the Christmas Day tornado in Mobile is being torn down. Demolition work began yesterday on the Sweet Pilgrim Baptist Church on St. Charles Avenue. Church leaders say they had been working out an agreement with their insurance company to rebuild on the same site. Neighbors say they're looking forward to having the church back up and running.
They worked hard to get that church up, and when they finally got it, it was good for the neighborhood.
Church leaders say they have some money and they will have to take out a loan, though, to actually rebuild the church. Murphy High School also suffered major structural damage from the Christmas Day tornado, but school officials were able to repair the damage. Students had to finish off last school year at the Clark Shaw Magnet School. Well, yesterday, Murphy students were allowed back in the school, and they say they are excited to be home.
Now that I'm back for my senior year, it's really great.
And the best thing is that God definitely had a hand in the situation, because we left and there were a lot of things that needed to be remodeled, and we're coming back and there have been renovations, so we're coming back and it's better than it was.
The National Weather Service says the tornado that touched down and ripped through Mobile was an EF2. While many homes and buildings in Midtown Mobile were severely damaged, no one was seriously injured. Foley students and parents noticed a change during the first day of school. A school resource officer is now stationed to greet the students at each of the city's 4 schools. Foley was able to place resource officers at each of them by moving personnel around to fill the newly added positions. Before this year, there was only one resource officer who rotated from school to school. For many parents, the officers are a welcome sight.
It's going to give our kids the ability to go and talk to somebody if they have a situation. You know, counselors maybe not always available. So I think it's going to be good.
Baldwin County School Superintendent Dr. Alan Lee told us that Gulf Shores has also added an extra resource officer, and the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office is doing more patrols around the rural schools. Mobile firefighters are using the RSA Tower to train recruits. Take a look at this. Recruits climb 40 flights up the tower in full gear, carrying a 50-foot-long hose. The recruits are expected to graduate next month, but before that, they do have to complete a physical training exercise each day. It's the first time the fire department has used the RSA Tower for this type of exercise.
Today, they're learning about building construction, standpipes, which is the pipes in the stairwell that we connect to hook hose to and fight fire on the upper levels.
There are 33 recruits. Some of them completed the exercise in 15 to 20 minutes. It is time now to take a look at some more stories that are making headlines this morning. Folks in Idaho who were forced to evacuate because of a wildfire are slowly being allowed to return home this morning. The 160-square-mile Beaver Creek fire is burning near the affluent resort towns of Haley, Ketchum, and Sun Valley. Authorities lifted mandatory evacuation orders for up to 250 homes farthest from the fire. About 1,100 firefighters, including elite teams known as Hot Shots, are working to reinforce fire lines. The blaze, which was sparked by lightning, is about 8% contained. Also today, a military judge is set to deliberate the sentence of Army Private Bradley Manning for leaking troves of classified information. Manning faces up to 90 years in prison for giving whistleblower website WikiLeaks more than 700,000 U.S. military and diplomatic documents and some battlefield video documenting civilian deaths. Prosecutors have asked for a 60-year prison sentence. The defense has suggested Manning serve no more than 25 years. They say that's the expiration period for classification of some of the material he leaked. For more information on these stories and much more, you can go to our website, fox10tv.com. You can also sign up for email alerts to let you know about breaking news or weather events. Once again, it's fox10tv.com. Nowadays, your phone can be used as a GPS. You can learn the day's forecast or even get the latest news reports. But all that use can cause some wear and tear on your cellular device. We'll tell you how long you might expect your phone to last in this week's Angie's List.
Come clean the ditches from across the street, and I think that'll help the problem a whole lot.
Pritchard residents are busy cleaning up after recent heavy rains led to flooded streets. Those details are straight ahead. Michael?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. So far this morning, we are waking up to a partly to mostly sunny sky for, I would say, about 85 to 90% of the viewing area. But if you live along the beaches, you're going to have the best chance of seeing some early morning rain later today. And everyone else will be experiencing that risk later this afternoon. We'll talk about it in your forecast after you see this.
Hey, Nancy, we're just going to get you to count to 5 for us there, man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, you got you. Thank you very much.
That I can do.
I know. We're going to be coming up to you in this block. Joe and Sheriff will be with you over there. That's a little while.
You're watching Fox 10 News in high definition television.
And thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News on this Tuesday morning. It's now 7:39. I'm Sarah Wall. Residents in the Whistler community are still in cleaning up after our recent heavy rains. Residents tell us the West Turner Road floods every time there's a heavy rain. We checked on the problem, and Pritchard city leaders said the issue is with a nearby catch basin. It's clogged with debris. The oversaturated ground is to blame for this huge tree falling on a truck. The public works director knows all about the city's flooding problems.
My drainage crew, they've been working as hard as they can 5 days a week to try to clean out some of the ditches. And some of the citizens will notice that we have made a great effort within the last 2 months. But we still have a long way to go.
City workers say they'd like to have the catch basin cleaned out by next week. We'll continue to check on the problem and let you know when it is resolved. Major flooding issues in Gulf Shores could soon be a thing of the past. City officials say heavy rainfall back in 2006 caused some flooding issues throughout Gulf Shores, resulting in standing water inside numerous homes. But an extensive $1.2 million drainage system could soon fix all of that. The drainage ditches connect through several neighborhoods, funneling rainfall into the Intercoastal Waterway.
I believe it's been critical for our success down here that we implemented these two projects. Had we not had these two systems in place, I believe that we would have had homes that could have been threatened with this rainfall events that we've received over the last 2 months.
Officials say you can help flooding control by not dumping anything into the ditches and alerting city officials if you see anything in the ditches that could block the flow of water.
And as our clock approaches 7:41, here are a look at your weather headlines as we roll in throughout the course of a Tuesday. We still have a stalled frontal boundary on top of the Gulf Coast, so that is going to mean the chance of more showers and storms. A lot of that is going to occur as we approach midday and move into the afternoon. And with that stalled frontal boundary retreating on shore, we're going to see an increase in Gulf moisture. But as far as the tropics themselves, things out there are very calm and quiet. We are in mid to late August when we should have a couple of named storms on the board, or at the very least a few disturbances out there, and we just don't have anything. No tropical waves of interest in the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, or the Atlantic, which is excellent news. And part of the reason why we haven't really seen a lot of tropical development off the African coast is because we've had dry air off the Sahara Desert really preventing that, which is a great thing. And hopefully we'll see that continue through at least the majority of the 2013 hurricane season. And bear in mind, even though we've had 5 named storms, they've all been tropical storms. We have had no hurricanes so far this year. Temperatures on the board, mid to lower 70s around our area. Projected high today going to be 88. We'll deal with a 50% chance of scattered showers and storms, with the peak coverage occurring between noon and 3, and most of the showers fading away as a lot of you commute home from work at 5 o'clock. And you know the routine. We've seen this since June. If you're caught underneath a summer storm, heavy rain and lightning are going to be the biggest dangers. For now, those showers and storms are tracking from east to west out over the open waters of the Gulf. They're offshore, because that is where the stalled front is located. And behind that front, where we are, we're under the influence of this upper high. Dry, stable air pumping in, and it doesn't feel too bad. Many spots are dealing with sunshine, but if you're ahead of the boundary, the air is more humid. You're getting that surge of Gulf moisture, and the potential for rain and storms heads your way. So as we see this front backtracking a little bit this afternoon, we're going to end up with some of the showers and storms, but the front dissipates over the next couple of days, so our rain chances will continue to decline. High this afternoon, 88. The rain chance 50%, with a southeast wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Overnight tonight, we dip down to 73 degrees, and as the rain chances continue to throttle back, afternoon highs increase. We'll be back to 90 degrees starting on Thursday. And if you're curious about whether or not we see temperatures continuing to rise or rain chances continuing to decline as we move into your weekend, we'll discuss that in your next weather segment coming up at 7:56. Sarah?
Michael, thanks. It's now 7:43 and time to check in with Joe and Cherish and see what's coming up on Studio 10. They are in the kitchen and it smells good in here, guys.
Yeah, and this is really exciting what we're doing today. We have Nancy with us. She is a registered dietitian, and today you're going to be cooking with Tandoor Chef. This is something that's kind of new to the area. You can get it at Target and Whole Foods, and we don't have a Whole Foods yet. So what are you going to be cooking for us?
Well, I'm actually going to introduce Indian food in a slow manner today. We're starting with naan pizza. So I'm kind of taking a traditional food that we're all familiar with and making it on a traditional Indian bread naan.
It looks really good. A lot of great looking ingredients there.
Can't wait to get started on that during Studio 10 today. Also, football season is just around the corner. We're going to be talking with Tommy Hicks about his new book, all about Alabama football and the history of the Crimson Tide and fans' thoughts on the big games, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, we're going to be talking about Beer Fest and also a huge festival celebrating Japanese culture that's coming up in Pensacola.
All right, sounds great. Thanks a lot, guys. We are looking forward to Studio 10 coming up in about 16 minutes from right now at 8 o'clock, just after the end of our newscast. Up next this morning, we will check back in with Aaron for another look at your traffic conditions. Also, the new iPhone may be getting a new look. We'll explain coming up. And
bottom line is, when Nick knew what to do, he outperformed the others.
You heard it. Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn officially named Nick Marshall as the Tigers' new starting quarterback. Hear what Nick has to say leading up to the first matchup against Washington State. It's all coming up on your only local news at 7:30. Stay with us on this Tuesday morning. Right now, it is 7:45. 7:47 is our time now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News. I'm Sarah Wall. Time to see how things are shaping up around the area on the roadways. A new thing this week for some. Aaron, we do have school zones.
Yeah, school zone. Kids are back in school, so you got to pay attention, extra careful attention throughout the school zones. Make sure you're obeying the speed limit on your ride into work throughout those areas. And I wouldn't be surprised to find some police officers patrolling those areas rather heavily as we get back into school this season. Right now, throughout the Mobile area, we are seeing delay-free conditions moving across both I-65 and I-10. On our main roadways, we had an accident at Hillcrest at Shady Lane, just mild slowdowns there, and then an accident along the westbound Bayway this morning around mile marker 35 at the Daphne exit, and that has moved over into the breakdown lane, and currently no problems in traffic in that area right now. In Pensacola, we have an accident being cleared from Navy Boulevard at Raymond Street, and still trouble-free conditions moving across both I-10 and I-110 for your ride into work right now. I'm Aaron Adams with your Fox 10 News Traffic.
All right, Aaron, thanks a lot. It's now 7:48. All right, you could call it Apple's golden ticket. The new iPhone, which is expected to be displayed during a conference on September 10th, is branching out from its standard black and white options to gold. Gold is currently one of the most popular aftermarket color adjustments for the iPhone. It is believed that the new iPhone color will be much like the old gold iPod Mini. So be ready for that if that's what you want. Speaking of cell phones, if you are like most people, your cell phone is within reach at all times, morning, noon, and night. But with all that usage, your phone is more likely to suffer some damage. A reputable repair shop may be able to fix your broken phone. Common cell phone repairs include cracked screens, water damage, and battery replacement.
Most common repairs are going to be the front-facing screens, and then batteries. Batteries can go bad in less than 2 years, depending on how often they're charged and how they're used, just like brake pads on a vehicle. They give you a warranty for a certain time period, but if you're a hard driver, if you're a hard phone user, it can go out at a faster rate than normal.
For more tips, please visit our website. It's fox10tv.com. You will find more Angie's List stories in the On the Money section under the News Links section on our homepage. Auburn fans, it is official. You now have a starting quarterback, and the decision was made just in the nick of time as we are just 11 days until the first kickoff. Tigers head coach Gus Malzahn has named Nick Marshall their new starting quarterback. Marshall is a transfer from Garden City Community College, where he passed for more than 3,000 yards and rushed for more than 1,000 last season. Marshall says he is ready to step up and win some games for the Tigers.
It's a good fit because I've been running this kind of offense since I left high school, and then I did some of that in JUCO too, so I'm well fit for it. It's going to feel great to I know the team behind me and I'm behind them 100%. We just going to go out there and win games.
Auburn kicks off the season next Saturday against Washington State from the Pac-12. We will continue to focus on Auburn this week for our countdown to kickoff. Later today, we'll take a look at the Tigers' offense and defense. Then next week, it's all about the Crimson Tide. Hear interviews with head coach Nick Saban and Gulf Coast natives A.J. McCarron, C.J. Mosley, and T.J. Yeldon. Then the following week, we take a look into the pro game as we focus on the Saints season opener. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons. Make sure you stay tuned on air and online to Fox 10 for the latest sports news.
I'm meteorologist Michael White here in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center. Well, with football season knocking on our doorstep, it's a good indicator we're going to be entering fall soon. But it's not feeling like that today. Very summer-like on the Gulf Coast. Temperatures will rebound to about 82 by 10 o'clock with a few coastal showers possible. And the rain and storm probabilities increase as we approach midday and move into the afternoon. We'll sort it all out in your full forecast and start Studio 10 after the break.
7:52 is our time right now on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 10 News. I'm Sarah Wall. Time now to take a look at the tunnels and the Bayway in case you have to leave by 8 this morning. We do have some pretty nice conditions for traveling if you're out and about. Here's a live look at the eastbound Wallace Tunnel where traffic is looking good. A live look at the westbound lanes of the Wallace Tunnel shows that traffic has no problems to report here. Traffic is heavier going this direction, it appears, at this point this morning. Inside the Bankhead Tunnel going into and out of downtown Mobile, traffic moving along just fine. And our last stop takes us to the Bayway this morning where traffic is looking good in this area. Also good to see some sunshine and no rain on those roadways. It always is easier to drive when things are dry. In news from around the world this morning, an angry mob sets a passenger train on fire and beats its driver unconscious after a deadly crash. This story and more as Fox's Shepard Smith takes us around the world in 80 seconds.
India. Local media report that superfast train slammed into dozens of people on the tracks in an eastern state. A railway official says at least 37 of them died. There are conflicting reports on whether the victims were crossing the tracks or trying to get the train to make an unscheduled stop. Witnesses say after the crash, a crowd dragged the driver off the train, cleared out passengers, and lit some of the cars on fire. At last check, the driver was critical. Philippines. Navy divers searched the wreckage of a ferry that sank last week with hundreds of people on board. Authorities say that ferry crashed into a cargo ship off the coast of a central port city. At least 50 people died. Dozens more reported missing. Indonesia. Some 30 inmates escaped during a riot at an overcrowded jail in the West. Police say prisoners upset over conditions there set fires and tore down walls. Reportedly the country's third jailbreak this year. Cuba. Folks from around the world gathering for the annual classic car rally in Havana. It features some 70 antique vehicles. A guy from Spain owns the oldest ride, a 1930 Ford Model A. And that's a wrap on this Fox trip around the world in 80 seconds.
And at 7:55, as we begin here at our smart board in the Fox 10 Storm Tracker Center, we showed you this graphic yesterday morning. This is a look at Sunday afternoon's highs. Remember, we had a ton of rain around the viewing area. The clouds were thick, and we only saw temperatures reaching the upper 70s in several spots, including both Mobile and Pensacola, which reached 77 and 79 degrees. We also told you yesterday that we were going to see the rain become a lot more spotty. We were going to have more sunshine, and as a result, temperatures would surge by over 10 degrees, and that is exactly what had happened as we moved in towards the afternoon, with high temperatures rebounding into the upper 80s. Most spots reached around 88 and 89 degrees. That's what the Mobile and Pensacola metros dealt with. Pascagoula, you saw an afternoon high of about 87. Farther to the east, Pensacola, you saw upper 80s. Fort Walton Beach, the same. Crestview, you were at 92, and Evergreen at 91. Now, today, things are going to be very similar to Monday. We're going to have a nice mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures will rebound into the upper 80s and lower 90s. The coverage of rain about 50%. But as we move in over the next several days, we're going to continue to see the rain chances fall and our temperatures begin to return to more summer-like conditions. As far as what we're dealing with outside on the Storm Tracker radar, we have seen rain and storms throughout the morning firing off in the Gulf and tracking from the east to the west, but we haven't really seen a whole lot on shore. The lightning pretty impressive, over 130 strikes right now, but that is very far away from our shoreline. What's going to happen is a stalled frontal boundary, which is just off our coast, is going to retreat to the north. The showers and storms are forming ahead of the stalled boundary. As it moves back on shore, we're going to see the showers and storms move on shore as well. And the humidity around here is also going to increase. So even though our high temperatures will reach about 88, it's going to feel more like the temperature is between 95 and 100. And just for the heck of it, let's look in the tropics where things are still calm and quiet. No disturbances, no waves, no named storms at all. Everything quiet in the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Atlantic. And as we've told you all morning, dry air off the Sahara Desert has really helped with that. And so far this season, we've had 5 named storms: Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dorian, and Aaron. They all reached tropical storm strength, but none of them became hurricanes. So far, we've had no hurricanes through this season, and hopefully we'll continue continue to see things remain calm and quiet. Temperatures on the board are in the mid-70s, 73 in Mobile, 76 Pensacola. Fort Walton Beach, you're sitting with a temperature of 75, but we factor in the high Gulf moisture, and we're not seeing a heat index registering on the western side of the viewing area yet, but on the eastern side, heat index values are at 80 for Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach. And that stalled frontal boundary is about clipping through central South Carolina and central Georgia, running all the way to about eastern Louisiana. The rain and storms are firing ahead of the boundary, tracking from east to west. As it moves onshore, the humidity goes up, the rain moves onshore as well. But then as we move into tomorrow and Thursday, we'll see that boundary dissipate. Our rain chances decline further, but as a result of that, our afternoon highs will increase. High temperatures will return to the 90s by the time we move into Thursday and into Friday. On the Futurecast model, here's what is going to be taking place. Coverage of rain peaks at about midday. The showers and storms track from south to north. We are going to continue to see the same dangers we always see in summer storms, heavy rain and lightning, but they will be spotty. Some of you will be wet, some of you will be dry. And then as we move in closer to sunset, all those rain and storms dissipate and will remain calm and quiet through the overnight hours and as we kick off your Wednesday. High temperature today, 88 degrees, 50% chance of scattered showers and storms with a light southeast wind. Tonight, mainly dry, the sky partly cloudy, lows dipping down between about 71 and 75 degrees, depending on your location. And up on the 7-day planner, here is how it all stacks up. We will see the rain chances throttling back for the next couple of days as that front washes itself out. Temperatures, at least for the afternoon highs, will go up. We'll be back at 90 degrees in most spots for Thursday and Friday, but then a new frontal boundary approaches us for the weekend. Now, unfortunately, this means rain chances going up for both Saturday and Sunday, with drier, less humid air arriving on Monday. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and fine-tune the forecast as we get closer to the weekend. But at least things are a lot calmer now than they were last weekend.
Which normally we'd say, what, the weekend? But this is good because a lot of kids just started school. We don't need any downpours or things like that. But it is interesting how the rain keeps coming on the weekend.
I know. I wish we could change the timing on that. I'm not a fan of that.
It is interesting how that keeps happening. All right. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 10 News on this Tuesday. Check out our website, fox10tv.com, for the very latest news, weather, sports, all of that. And we hope to see you right back here tomorrow. We also hope you have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.